Tyrese Haliburton has finally arrived. Okay, well, technically he arrived in game 2 of this series, but they actually won this game, so we're just gonna start from here. You thought I was gonna skip past his terrible performances? No, we actually have to see how he got here. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really watch much of their first round against the Bucks, but what I did notice was that Tyrese Haliburton was never looked at as the guy on any of these games, or he at least didn't really have the same performances that we saw him have throughout the regular season or even the in-season tournament. But at the end of the day, none of that really matters because they made it past the Bucks, even though they were injured a ton, and I think it could have gone differently had they have had a fully healthy squad. There's no reason to go over that. Okay, that's a touchy subject. When it came down to the Pacers going up against the Knicks, I think a lot of people, including myself, really thought that if Tyrese doesn't step up, if he doesn't become the regular season Tyrese Haliburton or the in-season tournament Tyrese Haliburton that we have seen before, they will be an easy sweep. The series is over. They would have just gotten lucky because they beat the Bucks and now they made the second round and it's done. That, along with the fact that Pascal Siakam wasn't putting up performances like this anymore. Me personally, I was cheering for the Pacers because I do like Tyrese. He was drafted by my favorite team. Even though there's like a murky relationship between the Kings and Tyrese, I'm gonna support the guy. I'm not a loser, but I'm gonna be honest, I thought this was gonna be a sweep. I didn't think they had a game in them, and that's because after watching game 1, I don't think anyone thought they could win this series. It is known that Tyrese was struggling or is currently struggling with back spasms, and also some other people saying that he's still recovering from his hamstring injury or something earlier in the season. I can't remember if it was hamstring or something else. Whether or not you want to buy that excuse, I'll leave that up to you. Me personally, I don't. I think, you know, he's just kind of trying to get back into playoff form or get into playoff form because we've never seen him on this big of a stage. But you can look at the Tyrese Haliburton performance and then look at the box score and wonder how this even happens, because the game was close, and that's simply because of the Pacers bench. Now, of course, I mean the bench along with Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner, because to me, for this team to win, the order of players that need to have a good night goes as Tyrese Haliburton, Pascal Siakam, then Miles Turner. And in this case, we saw both Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner play great alongside a very good bench. So at the end of the day in this game, yeah, it would have been great to have Tyrese. I'm sure they actually probably would have won this game, but it wasn't as demotivating as you thought it would be, right? Going into this one and losing it and having a bad performance. But if there was anything that was demoralizing or demotivating for the Pacers, it was that they lost the game on an illegal screen. That was very rough. Very, very, very rough. But after this game, Tyrese said himself that he needs to be more aggressive. This is not the type of Tyrese that we could see for the rest of the series. And going into game 2, he actually took his own advice and started playing aggressive. He was able to find his teammates and score way easier. I'm pretty sure he had like 7 3-pointers made in this game. Obi Toppin, by the way, was also playing great off the bench as well. Had a great game. Ben Shepherd also earning minutes from this game as well. But even though Tyrese had arguably his best playoff game in his career up to that point, it wasn't enough to get the win. And for Rick Carlisle, he blamed it on the officials, and Tyrese Haliburton just blamed it on the fact that they couldn't play good defense. Kind of crazy that Tyrese is a bit more mature in that sense. At the end of the day, the game came down to only a couple possessions, and it wasn't any complete blowout. And not to mention, Tyrese did exactly what he said he would do after game 1, which was go into the game being more aggressive. So we knew that for game 3, we were going to see the same Tyrese, right? He kind of cracked the code after game 2, because first things first, the arena was loud as hell. I mean, just listen to this crowd.
Haliburton wide open all the time in the world.
That being said, Dante DiVincenzo got off early in this game, and the way that they wouldn't pull up on him when on the perimeter and instead would just sag off, it was one of the most questionable plays of all time. I don't know what the Pacers defense was doing, but this Dante DiVincenzo performance was being matched by Tyrese Haliburton. To me, he was coming off even more aggressive than game 2, starting off hitting some crazy good threes. Crowd is hyped, things are looking good, and you know already, just by the first couple points scored in the game, it was going to be a close one, and just coming down to the very last play. But something that was unexpected was an Alec Burks appearance. I mean, I think even Jericho Sims hopped up into the game for a little bit for some reason. I don't know if Tibbs accidentally did that, but Alec Burks was not a mistake because the guy was huge for this Knicks team. We know that Bogdanovic is out, unfortunately. Also, OG is out for this game as well. Hopefully he feels better soon. Burks kind of came in though as one of those guys to help fill in those holes, you know, that they have in their team. And man, it was huge because in this clip, you could see Jalen Brunson getting doubled and Burks was able to be wide open, ready for a 3, catch and shoot, got it in, cash. And actually, speaking about that double team, I don't know if this is something that has been happening like all series and I just haven't picked up on it, but this game I noticed that Naismith, I don't know how to say his name exactly, I apologize. Holy shit, he can guard the fuck out of Jalen Brunson. Like seriously, I am questioning the rest of this series because of the way that he was being guarded. It was crazy, and you saw that Brunson, as soon as he had someone else on him or as soon as he got a switch, he would drive and attack just so he can really make the most out of not having Naismith on him. It also doesn't help that Brunson and pretty much everyone on both sides is just hurting themselves every 3 seconds. Tyrese Tyrese rolled an ankle. I'm pretty sure Brunson also rolled an ankle. Some people are just hurting their shoulders, their arms. Everyone is getting hurt out here. Everyone's getting physical, and I just love that we're still able to keep players on the court. I know that we've lost a good amount of players, and it's really sad that we don't see a fully healthy team in the playoffs pretty much ever, because one of the most understated things is the Pacers missing Benedict Mathurin. I don't think enough people talk about that. So Pacers fans, I want you to know that I acknowledge that, and I am very sorry to hear about that, because I think he would be one of those guys with like crazy playoff moments and crazy playoff highlights and just big games for the team. Anyway, sorry for going on a bit of a tangent. For me, it was really the last 2 to 3 minutes of this game that won it for the Pacers. The way that they were able to rebound the ball. Rebounding is one of the most crucial things for this Knicks team. Josh Hart, as we all know, crashes on those boards every single time. The way that the Pacers were able to actually get their rebounds and get more attempts at making a basket was actually their savior. It was the only reason why they won this game. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe you disagree with me for some reason, well, just go ahead and take a look at how Nembhard got the game-winning 3. Yep, it was from a rebound off of Tyrese's missed 3. And even though Tyrese ran this clock like crazy and just gave it to him like some hot potato shit, he was still able to knock the shot down, which was very impressive. I think Tyrese even said in his post-game interview, like, yeah, that was a terrible move from me. I'm so sorry, but he made a big shot. But it was on the other side that was the most questionable thing ever. And I think it needs a bit of a breakdown, because Jalen Brunson, the game-tying shot on the line, everything on the line, game 3, no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. This is the chance to basically take the series, and he throws up this shit.
Leans in, throws up a wild shot. Very good shot with the rebound.
Now, at first, after seeing that, I thought, what the hell is Jalen Brunson doing? But then I saw on Twitter someone say that we're all a bunch of casuals, and we didn't know that Jalen Brunson was thinking or knew maybe that the Pacers were going to foul him so he couldn't get a 3-point shot off. Whether or not that's true, I feel like maybe you should wait for a little bit of a harder contact so you know it's going to be a foul, because they're not just going to give this out willy-nilly. I know that the Knicks have had a lot of calls their way, but they're not handing out game-tying free throws. It's not going to happen, especially after Rick Carlisle went to the damn league and started bitching and sent in like 79 clips of fouls. So that's not going to happen. Also, I don't really see there being much contact on this play. Maybe there's an alternative angle, and maybe I'm showing it on the screen right now. Maybe I'm not. But maybe there's an alternative angle out there where you can see him, you know, get slapped in the back of the head or some shit. I don't know. At face value, though, from the game camera, I don't see any fouls. That being said, I'm happy to see the Pacers win game 3, because even though I'm cheering for the Knicks, and I really do want to see the Knicks go all the way to the finals, I don't really care if they do lose, because I like the Pacers as well. I like Tyrese, and I'm just here to watch some good damn basketball. That's exactly what this series is, okay? This is one of my favorite series. I know I've said before that the Nuggets and Timberwolves is also my favorite series. It is, but today's game just... like, I don't even want to talk about it. Obviously, in that series, I'm cheering for the Timberwolves, so it's a bit harder for me to talk about, but it was just a blowout game. We knew how it was going to go after, like, halftime, to be honest. I was making some buttered chicken and some, you know, drinking a damn Coke. Shout out to Jamal Murray, though, because even though he should be suspended for throwing a fucking heating pack onto the court, and a towel, by the way, no one talks about the towel, he did show up in that game, and he is the reason why they won that game. Now, to me, I still have the Timberwolves winning that one, but we'll get into that for another time. For right now, Pacers, Knicks, it's been a great series. I hope it goes to 6 or 7 and the Knicks win in that final game. Please, I beg. Anyways, comment down below your opinion on these games, whether it's the Timberwolves and Nuggets or Knicks and Pacers. I want to hear what you guys think. How do you think the rest of the series is going to go? Is Tyrese Haliburton officially back, or is this just maybe a couple good games? Because Pascal Siakam had himself a couple 30-something point games, and he hasn't looked the same since. That is a joke. He's been having good games. Okay, relax. Okay, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.